How does this happen in the life of an artist, going from a really pared down personal performance to really super, at least what appear to be super production values? I mean, I know you're not working with Spielberg budgets.
No, but
So
I can make it almost look like a Spielberg budget for,
how does this happen to an artist from?
Well, I personally think it's been a long journey for me. Not that it's all been great all along the way, but I realized, and really when I worked with the Dorian project, that was where my production values totally shot up, and I found an amazing cinematographer to work with, Ed David, who I was going to work with one of my graduate students on that project, and he couldn't do it, and he recommended a friend of his that he knew from undergrad. They're both, just kids in their 20s. And so I called up his friend, Ed David, who was like, sure, let's do it. And I've been working with Ed ever since.
Well,
and Ed's incredible. And I realized, though, it's interesting because I made this piece in the early 90s that I'm too embarrassed to ever show. But I should take a look at it again, called A History of Pain. I was really obsessed with the Spanish Inquisition at that point in time. And it's this weird, it's very similar to Dorian in some ways. It's very similar to what I'm doing now. It's a weird, contemporary, experimental narrative that both looks back at the Spanish Inquisition, and then it's also contemporary. And I realized what I was trying to do with that piece. I'm now making the work that I always wanted that piece to be, but because I didn't have the skills to do it back then, it just didn't come out like this work now. And what I'm gearing toward, what I'm making, and and I just love how much it inspires you, and that you can really feel it. Is I really treat the work like jewels. Like each one, I feel like it's like a faceted jewel in some way, and that hard surface of a diamond or a ruby, and that you have these facets where all the light, and the more facets you put in or the different type of facets you put on the gem, the more light shines through, and the more beautifully this crystallized thing glows. So it's really been a long process of finding the right people to work with and realizing, who's really great at what they do. And then the tough part is, because I still control everything. I'm a control freak, and
I think most artists are.
Designing costumes, and I'm also, designing all the shots in advance, and designing animation, and then hiring animation people to do things. So the hardest part is finding people who you can communicate your ideas to, and then they're able to translate that just how you imagine
and willing
them.
To.
And willing to.
Yeah, it's great because it shows the importance for young artists, as soon as they can, to really start making connections with other artists and to be unafraid to approach senior people. Perhaps you never know when someone may want to jump onto a project that you would hardly ever expect.
Exactly.